hold on a second. Yeah, I did update the scoreboard. Pro streamer. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And for everybody on the stream, here we are, guys. Welcome to TaToH versus Liereyy, game number 1 in their 3-game series for the All-Star League. This is going to be our 3rd week of action here, 3 weeks out of 8. We're not even halfway through yet, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what today is going to hold. Joining me for the first 2 sets of games, we have Klavskis.
Thank you for having me here. Really nice to be here. As you know, I love actually watching really good pro games, and this should be a really interesting match, as I think that a lot of the line for Liereyy especially coming in with that 1 win and 5 losses, so should be interesting.
Yeah, so down to the south of the map in the blue, we have got TaToH playing as the Japanese down here. And since it's mirror civs, that means that Liereyy is going to be up to the north playing as the Japanese as well, but this time in the red color. The map for this one going to be Highland. No worries.
Sorry about that. Yeah, he already pushed the deer really fast because he found it while he was scouting on like the south. That is really nice. As we know, a really fast deer makes him have pretty much 0 idle time whatsoever. So that should be a really nice economy boost.
Yeah,
the map is it's quite interesting. I mean, they have this they have the one crossing in the middle, but I think they're really close, honestly, if you look at it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, they are quite close. I mean, they're not like, I mean, normally when you go from top to bottom, it's really hard to explain. But like, if you spawn on the far left and the far right of the map, the distance is huge. But when you spawn like on the top side and then the bottom side, the distance isn't that far. But I mean, that probably doesn't make much sense, and it's really difficult to explain it without drawing on the map what I mean. But yeah, I mean, Highland, generally, I mean, that center's going to get walled up, but and then players will get a little bit of action on the water in the feudal age. But what do you actually think to these guys' maps right now? What do you think to Lierey's map at the moment?
I mean, I actually like it. He has the back gold, the back stone, even the main gold is actually in an okay position. And knowing that TaToH loves towers, I mean, Lierey's going to be really happy about that. As we have seen TaToH, you know, using those towers a lot, his advantage versus Viper and such. So it should be interesting if Liereyy can actually get to a castle age. I think he might be in an okay position. But, you know, TaToH is probably the guy who is full of surprises.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Lierey's map just because of how easy it is for him to wall against a landing. And oftentimes in this map, landings do come in as players will want to try and, well, if they lose the water, for example, they'll send the landing over. But I'm actually just wondering right now, Liereyy, the sheep are looking a little bit confusing. He's actually seen the sheep.
A wolf coming. Hey, a wolf coming to the village. He's trying to wall. He's trying to wall the middle, and a wolf attacking his villager. Really bad for Liereyy.
Fine. But, yeah, but obviously, if TaToH comes in with his scout, he could catch that out. But yeah, he's gonna wall the villager into the dock.
Lucky. If TaToH would have came, it would have been really bad. Losing 1 villager so early, that is really painful for Liereyy. But he's fine. He will be okay.
I mean, I'm quite concerned about Lierey's sheep situation. I don't know if he's actually, if TaToH stole these 2 sheep, which he's bringing in right now, because Liereyy actually has 1 sheep under the TC at the moment, and then there's 2 off to the north, which he hasn't grabbed. But TaToH's got like also 4 left.
There's also, yeah, but also 2 on the left. You should see like far left behind the wood, like the big wood. Yeah, those are the 2 ones.
I didn't see that actually. So it wasn't a steal from TaToH. It's just Liereyy hasn't actually grabbed them yet. He's going to grab his second boar now. And I guess then he's kept his scout close to his villager to keep her safe while she builds the dock. And then he's going to go grab the sheep. But he hasn't scouted actually the second pair of sheep on this left-hand side. So that might actually be a little bit of a pain for him. But both players right now with the dock in the middle. And Lierey's got the first ship out, the first fishing ship, that is.
Yeah, that's really nice. I think that it's a smart choice for him to actually go for the deer instead of trying to find the sheep, because if you look at it from his viewpoint, it's theoretically a gamble. Or like the sheep could be on the far left, it could be on the north, like he doesn't know that, right? And now he's pretty much not wasting his scout time, and he's protecting the villager. That's why he decided to go for the deer instead of trying to find the sheep as fast as possible.
Well, he knows the deer are there, but through the fog, I'm looking at Lierey's point of view, and he's going to spot that barracks.
Yeah, he's going to spot the barracks. And already a palisade coming out. That's a really nice reaction. He needs to completely wall that, because that is a really fast forward barracks coming out from TaToH. That could be really painful if he does not clear that up.
Yeah, and I wonder if TaToH is going to send his scout through. Surely he would send his scout forward here as well. But I don't know. I think actually TaToH is not going to use this barracks to do any aggression. I just think he wants the wall on Lierey's side of the map. But yeah, I mean, he's going to get that up and force a reaction at the very least. And you can tell he's not even rushing the barracks here. He's actually focusing on building the wall up first as Liereyy continues to close that gap. And I think, TaToH, if he does make some militia now, and does it blind, I think that's going to be a big mistake from him because Lierey's map is closed with just this one palisade.
It's really interesting. He also has 1 on gold, which would indicate maybe some kind of man-at-arms. But then again, for man-at-arms, he would want 2. But it might be the man-at-arms, actually. If he makes 1 militia after quicking the feudal age, definitely. And he makes 2, so it's not going to be man-at-arms by the looks of it.
Wow. So he's going to send the militia forward. I mean, well, I guess once he does get to feudal, he can do that upgrade. But I feel like this is kind of risky because he actually didn't send his scout forward at all. If you look at his scouting, he doesn't have any vision on Lierey's side of the map. So he's
exactly, it's very bad.
Completely blind into this.
I really don't like it. I mean, he is pushing the deer, which is good on the value side, but why not put the scout a little bit forward, see what you're actually dealing with? I mean, this is completely blind rush right now. I really question the choice of TaToH right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, you've got Liereyy going up to the feudal age here at the moment, and he's going up on 24 population with 3 fishing ships as well. And since Liereyy will be faster to feudal here, and also, on top of that, walled up, he can actually just make a couple of boats and start killing TaToH's fish, giving him a really big advantage in the food economy. Meanwhile, TaToH's going to be attacking the palisade wall and really not achieving too much at all here. I really question this decision from him.
Yeah, he will have to follow up with something really strong. Otherwise, those militia are pretty much just a waste of resources right now. And that's a lot of resources in the Dark Age as well, especially on a map which is kind of fast-paced on the water. We're already coming out with the fire galley. The fish will be in trouble from TaToH. And I don't know how he wants to deal with this, actually. I don't see a way.
Absolutely. I mean, he's definitely going to lose the fish because his feudal age time is going to be way too slow in comparison. He's not even halfway up yet. And as you can see, Lierey's just so easily able to wall up behind this. At least TaToH only made 2 militia. I think he must have either cancelled the 3rd one or, he didn't even queue a 2nd one once he saw that this was walled off. But this goes back to what I was saying before about Liereyy just having a super nice map because he can easily wall off the flanks and keep everything safe. The first fire galley's out though, and he's moving across now.
But the thing is that he got housed when the 3rd militia was about to come out, so maybe that's why he cancelled it. But then again, the question is, he doesn't have any villagers forward whatsoever. If we're just camping on the ice, which he is doing, he knows that he needs to camp here, because now there can't be no archery ranges, no stables coming out, no towers coming out. So where he's completely safe right now to this forward aggression, forward militia, you could say, coming out from TaToH.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, though, that Liereyy didn't go further across to scout for the fishing ships of TaToH here. He's gone to the left side, but he didn't pass the, I guess, the crossing point with his fire galley yet. So he could have had an opportunity to take down 4 of TaToH's fishing ships by now, but he didn't. And Liereyy just completing Town Watch, kind of, I think he's a little bit cautious at this point about, seeing what's going to happen through the fog. And you can see he's actually built an outpost in his wood line, spending that 100 food on Town Watch to get the vision, and giving himself that peace of mind. Whilst both players now actually switch their focus to the water, I think TaToH's really going to focus on water here. If you look at his eco, he's really set it up for that water control. Yeah,
for sure. And also I think that him, really not actually killing the fish was really huge. And I think that he really was going for the safe play. He was camping the ice, so no forward archeries and towers come out. And now he sees the double dock, so he realizes that it will be like a full water battle after all. And that's why his focus has been completely shifted to the docks. And now the demolition ships are coming out. This could be really interesting from Liereyy, how he actually deals with this.
Well, I think this so far actually worked out pretty well for Liereyy. 2 demolition ships down, and Liereyy only lost 1 fire galley. That's a great trade. And I think you put so much pressure on yourself by making the demolition rafts because, you basically saying, well, if I make a demolition raft, I have to hit at least 2 fire galleys for it to be worthwhile. And Lierey's got this huge advantage on the water right now that it's going to be really tough for TaToH to pull it back. I wonder if TaToH's going to do something similar to the previous water maps we've seen him play, where he will actually try and go for a pretty fast castle time. But I'm now questioning that because he's adding a 4th dock on the right side. So maybe he's going to try and bring this back in the feudal age.
It's really interesting. At one point I thought he wants to ram in the dog from Liereyy so his militia can get inside Lierey's base, because he was kind of going for that and then he turned around immediately. So I'm not really sure again what is his actual approach here. And Liereyy coming with a landing, so this would be very interesting. What does he have inside that fishing ship? He has 3 archers and a scout. I didn't even see the archery range from him coming out.
Yeah, I was going to mention that before, but it looked to me like once he saw TaToH adding in the docks that he would actually commit more to the water and kind of ignore the range. But he actually did train 4 archers, and he's just built a blacksmith as well, and I think he just finished fletching. So these 4 archers...
Yeah, fletching done.
Yeah, they're going to hurt. And I mean, TaToH doesn't even have a range up. Fortunately, he has a barracks, which is more than you would normally say. But yeah, he's not going to have a defensive building up in place, or any defensive units here as Liereyy comes forward with these archers, but at least he is kind of walled, and he might spot this before Liereyy moves out of his vision on this left side.
Yeah, he will spot with the houses most likely. He's already going to wall on the left and almost dying to a wolf. 4 HP on the villager. That could be really huge, but it will survive and he should be fine. There are no wolves in that area anymore. But look at that, where he's coming to the only hole TaToH has in that left area, you could say even. And now, how does he deal with that? I mean, the barracks is out of position. He doesn't have any military units. He really is going for the fast castle, as you mentioned before. And this will be a complete counter to that. Look at that. He's completely blind right now on his own island.
Yeah, and those archers, they're going to be able to come into the berries. He's going to be able to come into the wood line. But, I mean, Lierey's kind of given this away. He's sent his scout through to get some vision, kind of giving it up. But there you go, TaToH. He's going to try and build an archery range, but the archers from Liereyy... He's going to stop it, and that's going to keep the hole open, and he's going to kill a villager as well. So really nice play by him.
If he can reinforce fast enough, this will be so much damage. Also, the problem is that Liereyy still has not killed TaToH's fishing ship, and I think that is one of the biggest issues right now, because those fishing ships are actually the ones that are keeping him in the game right now. He's dropping another archery on the right side, trying to actually secure the tower on the gold as well. He's full on this defense, and I think that is a smart way, because otherwise he won't be able to even survive till the castle age.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely smart to put up the quick wall on the left and the tower, but it's also really good for Liereyy because he's forced a quite extreme reaction from TaToH. You know, he's pulled all of his villagers off the wood, he's killed 2 villagers, he's forced a tower, he's forced TaToH to build an archery range and skirmishers. So for the cost of 5 archers, that's really not a bad return at all. And that's actually going to put Liereyy in a pretty decent position. But I think Liereyy needs to get himself to the castle age as well here. Otherwise, TaToH does pose a threat to the water, and he could retake the water pretty quickly once he does get that castle age upgrade. Or, look at this, he's actually broken a hole in Lierey's wall now with the militia. And, I mean, TaToH could go through if he likes, with knights, for example, but he won't since he's built 2 archery ranges. But just a thought, could be an option for him.
Yeah, but I think that is too risky at the moment. He really needs to reclaim the control of his own land. I mean, he doesn't know how much more archers he actually has in the back, like maybe in the front even, because he killed off the initial ones, but he doesn't know what actually is going on because he's completely blind on the water. The 2 docks on the left will go down in a matter of seconds, and now he is completely on the right side. I think that Lierey's biggest mistake right now is actually not going on the right side, killing the docks and gaining control fully on the water. That actually might be the biggest issue for him.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you can see on the right side, TaToH actually has a transport ship here ready to load it up. But again, this is where the wall from Liereyy is super effective because even if TaToH transports units across, well, he doesn't need to. I mean, the transport ship's completely pointless because he's got a gate which can go through and get across to the other side anyway. So look, this is actually quite funny because TaToH's going to actually load up the transport with archers, but it's completely unnecessary. He could just send them across.
This is really questionable. I really have no idea what he's doing.
I guess he
And
thinks
now,
that maybe Liereyy has a hole at the right side, but because he hasn't got the vision.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually thought about that as well. But then again, why not scout with the militia? I mean, why go for such a gamble play in a tournament game? And now we're with the outpost. He will completely spot the forward now. And suddenly it all gets stopped and the jig is up, really, to say the least. The Vulture will go down most likely, though. And that would be really hurtful.
Yeah, he's gonna get the bill. I just find that so funny because he's gonna end up using the gate anyway. Like, so, just such a waste of wood to build the transport ship. But yeah, we shouldn't really criticize because he is playing in the dark. He doesn't really know what to expect on the other side.
Well, but in our defense, he had 2 militia. He could have scouted the whole right side. That is completely true. Maybe he was scared from the waters, from the ships on the water, but I don't really see how this is happening.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm still disappointed in Liereyy for not completely winning the water yet. I mean, there's still fish up for TaToH, and he has no ship, so that shouldn't really be happening, as TaToH is now really focusing on pressuring Liereyy on the land. Now, Liereyy is up to the castle age at 77%, and he is probably going to be able to buy himself enough time with these houses for the time being. So even though he's there with some crossbows, he's going to be there with a ram. I think Liereyy will be castled by the time they break through. What will he do next? That's the question. He is building a stable, and I think we're going to see knights, obviously. The Japanese actually are buffed quite a lot in the expansions, getting bloodlines, which is something that they missed in the base game, actually giving them quite formidable heavy cavalry, actually, in the mid game.
I think that's very fair. Already a siege rush out coming out, and that's completely expected. The mangonel will be really nice. I'm not really sure, but I think Liereyy doesn't know he can cross. I mean, should that really be the case, that he doesn't know he can cross on the right side? Because I really don't see why wouldn't he cross. Because he's completely patrolling the left side, but in the meantime, he's not even going for the right side.
Yeah, you mean like cross the ice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but he will be inside now, and now Liereyy might be in trouble, actually.
Well, I mean, Liereyy has quite smartly moved his eco back behind his TC here. So, although, yes, TaToH's in, and he did kill a couple of vills, he's actually 3 vills ahead right now. Liereyy, I think he's going to buy himself enough time to get a mangonel. He's bought himself enough time to get a knight and start taking down the ram as his mangonel comes out now. And he's got most of his eco in the back, so building a second TC on the left side, and if he can put up a defense, he'll be okay. But yeah, TaToH's definitely pressuring him at the moment. That's for sure.
And TaToH's already adding the second town center, so he will be start booming nicely, sure, soon enough. And now the mango macro's coming out, and a nice dodge from Liereyy, and TaToH is on 1 HP, and he's gonna lose it without getting the shot. That was completely huge at the moment. The mangonel advantage is really important, and those crossbows will be in trouble.
Yeah, the crossbows are going to probably go down here, if not to the mangonel, to the knights who will clean them up. There's only a small number of them. And
yeah, it's microing nicely, yeah.
I think I was a little bit ahead of you there. I'm at 26 minutes now. Just so
I'm like 3 seconds. 3 seconds behind. I sped it up. Okay, we should be fine.
Yeah, that's always a pain with these wrecks. So it's like literally the only downside. But yeah, Liereyy does have +1 defense on the knights, but obviously no bloodlines and no +2, whereas obviously TaToH's rocking the bodcar upgrade right now. But again, another mangonel trade for Liereyy here.
So good. I'm loving it so much.
This is perfect for him. This is the defense he needs.
But honestly, there are a little bit like some flaws, because if you look at the right side with the blacksmith and the houses, he should have already completely walled that off. Because if you look at like how he's setting it up, it's the TC in the front on the middle, the TC in the front to the right, and then on the left, my bad. But the right side is completely open. I really dislike that. He should have already house walled that completely off. Just, you know, maybe knights come in and something like that in the future would be really nice.
Yeah, but so far, though, I mean, Lierey's done a good job of defending this, and at the moment, TaToH, his side of the map, is just putting up his 3rd TC. However, I do want to point out that among all of this, TaToH still actually has a villager lead. He did kill a couple of vills from Liereyy, so even though Lierey's trading pretty well, TaToH's still, I guess you could argue, a little bit ahead in eco. The KD for both players completely even at 2020. So overall, I mean, it's still pretty close in that respect. And I think Liereyy now just needs to push TaToH back, or at least try to push TaToH back.
Definitely, and also we're going for the outpost, hurting him a little bit. I mean, if you check, he's still on 2 TC while having 500 wood, and that is never good. He would already want that 3rd TC down, but the outpost really damaged his pretty much stone count, and that's, again, really unfortunate. He does have the market up, but he can't really afford to abuse it that easily. And now he's dropping the 3rd TC because he had to defend, and the Mangonel's coming out, and he's still microing really nicely versus TaToH.
Oh yeah, he is getting like all the mangonel shots right here, and
that was so bad.
He blocked
he
the mango
did block
with
it with the knight. Yeah, that is so bad.
It's quite funny because I mean he is playing the mangonel war really well, but like just small things like that, like blocking the mangonel.
Yeah, now TaToH, hero monk. How did it survive? How did it survive? Look at that monk.
I actually have no idea.
How did it survive? Really, like.
It only took 24 damage. I mean, it must have been on the edge of the splash zone, but I mean, still, that's really surprising.
Yeah, indeed. That monk in his teenage years played a lot of dodgeball.
Yes, absolutely. So right now, I mean, there's a pretty clear difference between these two guys in terms of what their army comp's looking like. TaToH focusing a lot more on the crossbows here, whilst Lierey's going more heavily into the knights. I mean, I don't want to say heavily because he's only got 3, but
yeah, 3 knights,
definitely going that route. And both players actually doing Sanctity right now and starting to produce some monks as well. So we're going to see some monks coming out for Liereyy with 2 monasteries here in defense. We've also got 1 monastery from TaToH on the front. But yeah, I mean, TaToH is still pushing through here. He's actually starting to damage the TC. And he's looking pretty strong, to be honest with you. Now he's got the monks out. Lierey's going to have to adjust this. He can't keep making knights in this situation.
Yeah, for sure, because again, those 2 monks are already zoning everything out from Liereyy, and now the Mangonel coming out, he did not get the shot. Mangonel micro is very important in these type of games. It's a lot of resources, a lot of time on the Siege Workshop, and they're still battling really evenly right now, neck to neck.
So many shots, so many dodges, but wow, Liereyy still hasn't taken one down. This Mangonel.
That was really good because Liereyy knew that he's going to go down on that shot, so he immediately turned and got the last shot in, which resulted in the 1-1 instead of 1-0. That was really good play.
But the actual situation right here is really good for TaToH. Back at his own base, he's got his 4th TC up. Meanwhile, Lierey's idling 15 villagers inside the TC here. Liereyy now pushing out, and he's actually going to get the 2 mangonels from TaToH, I think.
Yeah, but the monks...
Yeah,
that one conversion already... that's really bad.
Do you think TaToH deleted his mangonel? I don't know if he killed it with Lierey's mangonel, but I mean, Liereyy did redemption, so you could convert the siege. And I think TaToH probably deleted the mangonels so that it didn't end up killing his crossbows there.
Yeah, it could be the case because, again, like the reaction time when the mangonel gets converted and just shot, it's just a really big mess where you can immediately fall down, and then you are suddenly in a bad position if he loses all of those crossbows. Could be the case, yeah.
I mean, it seems to me like Lierey's just going to buckle under the pressure now. He is 9 villagers behind at this stage. He is 12 or 11 military behind right now. And he's only got these 3 monks to really defend with. He's got, okay, sure, he's got 1 knight, but like we said before, the knights aren't useful anymore because TaToH can just convert them. And I'm really concerned that Liereyy is not going to put up a defense here now. I think he's running out of steam, and he might end up losing this on map control, which just shouldn't be the case when he controls the river.
Yeah, I really don't see that. I think that Liereyy definitely went a little bit too hard on the water, and by too hard I mean he wasn't efficient enough because he still didn't control all of the water, which is so surprising, to be honest, with the initial control he had. And now TaToH can just go inside his base, 2 rams already up, crossbows, knights, having everything you want in Japanese war really at this case. And I don't think Liereyy can actually come back, but the rams on the TC are really bad. They're really low HP. He should just come out with villagers and kill them. Even not gonna need that. Yeah, here we go. That's a little bit weird call from TaToH.
You're just kind of sending them in, and you think you'd have at least the crossbows nearby to kill any villagers that kind of pop out. But yeah, I mean, the thing is here, TaToH, first thing he did was actually focus down the Siege Workshop, which was a really smart move because the biggest counter to this right now is mangonels. Lierey's mangonels can kill the rams, they can kill the crossbows. And so by taking out the Siege Workshop first, he's stopping Lierey's ram production, and that's a really big deal. However, he has built another Siege Workshop behind it, and he's going to start queuing another mangonel. But yeah, I mean, so much eco damage to Liereyy here, just in idle villagers and forcing him to lose some vills killing these rams as well.
But it really comes down to, I think, that TaToH being like one step ahead in the development, because now where he's adding archeries while, you know, already crossbows out from TaToH, and that's again a good lead. He's trying to catch up, and that's always bad, because if you're always one step behind, then you will be just behind in Imperial overall and the economy in general, and you just lose. I mean, there's not much to it really.
Well, I want to make a prediction. I think Liereyy won't be even in the Imperial Age this game. I think it's going to end before Liereyy gets to the Imperial Age, to be honest with you. As, you know, he's just doing wheelbarrow right now. He's a long way from clicking up. Meanwhile, you know, TaToH is already 50% of the way there.
Yeah.
And Lierey's going to continue, well, re-wall this right side, but I don't think Lierey's going to make it to the Imperial Age this game, to be honest. That's my prediction for this one.
No, I agree. Yeah, even I think that you still want to go full castle defense on this one, and that's going to be a nice. Oh,
yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, that was good. Definitely. Don't see that every day.
No, not at all. But I mean, that's what I love about Mangan Elstay. Like they just they absolutely have the ability to turn a fight around completely. But at this point, I think the damage is already done, to be honest with you. I think TaToH is already so far ahead because of this. I mean, just look at Lierey's, look at these buildings. Just, I mean, I can't help but look at this and laugh a little bit because it's just so ugly. Like with all the houses and the buildings, like he can't build farms around there. It's all blocked in. And I mean, he's really felt the pressure. He's losing vills at the back as well to these 3 crossbows now as well. And yeah, that's gonna hurt.
I really don't. Honestly, again, I don't want to judge, but I don't know what exactly he's trying to do. He should already read the situation that he's completely behind, and now he's going for that kind of desperate Imperial play, doing everything as much as he can. And I really don't see what is really the reasoning behind that, because the water is already being secured, already towers being dropped on the left side, securing the docks. He's going to go more stable, so it looks like maybe even go for Cavaliers instead of Bloodlines. And there's not much really where he can do. I mean, it's honestly his game to lose right now. And I wouldn't blame him. He was really one step behind, going a little bit, again, questionable, and somebody should ask him, did he really not know you can cross the ice in the middle? It's like, somebody should really ask him that.
I'm sure he would know that. I don't know. I think I'm wrong in my prediction. I think Liereyy is going to hit the Imperial Age because all of that pressure has actually kind of subsided. TaToH's just kind of, he's lost all of his units now. He did get great value out of them, by the way. He killed so many vills, but he's kind of sat back now and he's building up at the stables. He's doing, what is he doing? Is he doing like light cavalry? And he's also doing fast fires on the water to lock that down. Lierey's going to come in with the monks, though, and start converting ships. That seems to be a common theme.
Yeah. Very questionable. I think that where you're controlling actually the left side on the water is kind of good, because now like no landing can happen on his side of the map as well. I'm not really sure about that, because again, I understand TaToH taking this like really slow because, you know, he knows he's way ahead. The score should tell him that. But then again, going for a white cav, maybe he's thinking where he will be full defense actually on the monks. But if where he goes for Arbalest now, he might actually pull this back a little bit.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, sorry guys in the chat, by the way, I'm just trying to fix the overlay here. It did kind of all go wrong very briefly. It just crashed. So I'm reloading it all. We're back in now. So yeah, sorry, you were saying about light cabs, and I think that's an interesting choice from him. But I think it's for the monks, to be honest with you. There's just so many monks from Liereyy.
For sure. Exactly,
yeah.
For sure.
He's just going to just take the monks out.
And what? And he didn't crash in the transport ship. No, really. He had the demolition raft and he did not crash in the transport ship. And now the monks are in trouble, but the castle will be good. I mean, he will lose some monks, but the castle will defend. That was a little bit of a misplay. I think he just didn't react fast enough, maybe a misclick even, because that would be really good. If he would have stopped that transport ship with the 5 white cab, that would be really nice.
Absolutely. And that like, again, just goes to show how like TaToH's getting away with stuff he shouldn't be getting away with here. I mean, this transport ship is just kind of, yeah, there you go, going incognito on the shoreline, but no, Lierey's going to spot it and catch it out. But yeah, actually, I mean, credit to Liereyy here. He's actually, put up a castle now in defense. It's going to make it harder for TaToH to push through and get across. He's actually got the water as well in his favor. Even these guard towers aren't really too much of a problem, it seems, as the fast fires are actually bringing them down surprisingly quickly. Just look at that. That
Yeah,
guard
it's
tower's
really,
going
really
down
nice, yeah.
fast.
For sure. For sure. That is true, yeah. And now archery is coming out as well, so he will go into the arbalest. Arbalest already done. I mean, that is pretty common in the Japanese, as we pretty much have the classic, siege plus arbalest composition, and then we have the expensive, which would be samurais plus siege. But I don't think we will see that, as these guys are going for the more like fast-paced game style.
I'm genuinely confused right now. I'm amazed at these guard towers because they're only doing 1 damage to the fire ships. Do they not get bonus damage versus the fires?
10 armor. They probably need the upgrades in the university, I assume. I'm not really an expert on towers, but I assume you need the arrow switch or something like it's called.
Yeah.
Not really sure, but now, yeah. I mean, and look at that, the conversion's coming out, and what is happening in this game right now, Zach?
This is amazing. This is amazing for Liereyy. Actually, you know what's really nice? The fact he got a couple of trebs out and he's taking out the docks from TaToH. And he's forcing TaToH to build keeps on his side of the map, which is surprising as well. And now I just feel like Liereyy should put his boats on this choke point or on the crossing and kill the units as they come across. As you said before, TaToH upgrading the arbalest and moving across with those guys right now. He's got capped rams as well. And once again, I'm a little concerned Liereyy might put too much focus on the water here and leave himself exposed on the land, because he's not really prepared for a landing still.
Definitely, but now the rams are coming out from the siege workshop, and he's finally trying to go for that last push, but 2 mangonels behind, and he's already coming with a lot of villagers, like 10 or more villagers coming to reload that. This might be very painful if he can. And look at the gates being dropped.
Yeah, but both of the mangonels went down. He did lose them in the end, and that means, I mean, these villages are toast, right, man? I mean,
for sure, yeah. I mean,
Lierey's already 20 vills. He's already 20 vills behind. These arbalest aren't gonna stop there. That's amazing. So Lierey's just kind of, again, still unprepared to deal with a landing, even though he's got no control of this crossing. He's still unprepared for a landing here.
Yeah, again, he's going for the more water control, and I mean, it's questionable as we can see, because the right side looks kind of exposed at the moment. He is dropping more siege workshops in the castle as well, but if the castle gets denied, this might be really, really painful, but looks like that is not going to be the case, as TaToH is just moving up on the TC at the moment.
Yeah, and this is where as well, like, Lierey's commitment to all these monks is not going to help him now. Not against these arbalest. And sure, he's going to get a second castle. It's going to keep the left side of his eco a little safer. But, I mean, TaToH could just steamroll through all these buildings out here. Oh, mangonel's coming out for Liereyy there. But he's going to actually get out-microed hard by TaToH. Really nicely played by him. And where's the defense on the land? I mean, it's just not there. I think TaToH is just going to be able to clean out all these buildings. He could even go for the castle right now if he wants to.
Definitely, and I think that it's actually much better to skip the castle. Just go straight to the economy, go straight to the top, go straight then to the left, and just like, because he knows that the economy is on the top left, pretty much side, as he had the archers in the wood line like 10 minutes ago, a little bit more. So I think he will skip the castle right now. I mean, I think that it's a good play to skip the castle, because you just want to hit the economy, not go for the more castle play.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And also as well, I mean, bear in mind, a castle isn't just a static defense, it's also a production building. And there's no way Lierey's going to be creating any samurai here, so it's not like the castle is really important for Lierey's army production. Like, if this was, let's say, a Mayan war, you'd want to focus the castles because you want to cut off your opponent's plumed archer production. Like, in this case, the castle doesn't matter. You're totally right. Yeah. He could just go straight to the north and take out the eco, but it doesn't matter anyway, because Lierey's going to call GG.
And she's kind of split off, and the GG, gets called. I mean, we did see it coming a long time ago, but I still think that Liereyy put up a nice defense, considering that how far he was behind already, like in the late Castle Age. Even the Imperial was such a risky play from him, and honestly, it did pay out on some extent. He did survive like around 10 more minutes. But in the end, obviously, you just can't stop the push without units, pretty much. Although, if you look at TaToH, he didn't have much. He had a few rams, skirmishers, arbalists, but it was enough in this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that Liereyy did a really good job of holding out and stalling, but it did, as you said, we kind of saw the writing on the wall in the Castle Age or the late Castle Age, and I thought that Liereyy wouldn't even make it to Imp, but obviously, what you said before was completely right. TaToH didn't need to rush. He didn't need to kind of get super aggressive as soon as he hit Imp. He could afford to sit back because he had such an advantage getting to the Imperial Age. He could sit back, take his time. And I think maybe the biggest mistake for Liereyy there was controlling the water, but not being able to stop TaToH just crossing and landing him. Because, I mean, what's the point of having the water if you're just going to get landed anyway?
Yeah, and also only controlling the left side, so really questionable decision there. I really don't like it because even now you have fish traps out with the fishing ships as we see on the right side, and still, I mean, that does get you food as much as it does. In these 48 minutes, those fishing ships have served a good wife, I would say.
Yes.
So I think that that's a big mistake because he kind of did go for the water, and then again, he kind of split off trying to go for the water slash defense, which is understandable in that case. But really unclear decision what he really wanted to do. Like maybe he thought that he has the water, he can try to win. But yeah, I mean, well played by TaToH. Even after the feudal aggression, he played it really, really smooth and did go for that Imperial win.
Yeah, it was a good game. I did want to just point out one minor thing as well. The additional gold, which were actually on TaToH's side of the map. And obviously that didn't really come into play, but as far as the map generation goes, I think Liereyy would have ran out of gold a lot faster than TaToH in that one. So he probably should have been a little more aggressive earlier on as well. But I mean, I think both players did a pretty poor job of scouting, to be honest. And I don't want to be overly critical, but like the TaToH rush thing, I was face palming pretty hard about that.
that was like I think it was trying to confuse Liereyy. He was like, I don't know what's happening right now. On some extent with the militia.